Greetings unto you. This is Pastor Obed Zulu, the Ego One. Today I have a message that I just want to deliver to you and talk about. It's something that people don't really get. You know, people are always confused when it comes to this topic. Now, if we go into the book of John chapter 14, from verse 1, the Bible is saying, from verse 2, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. And if it was not so, I would have told you. This Christ saying that there are many mansions in my Father's house. And if it was not so, I was going to tell you that there are no many mansions. But him telling us and saying that in my Father's house there are many mansions, that means there are many mansions. And then he goes on verse 3 and say, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. So now Christ, if he is saying that there are many mansions in my Father's house, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back again and receive you unto myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. Christ is talking to his church, he's talking to his people, those who are called by his name. So now, looking at where he is, or looking at the New Jerusalem, you know, I went to the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. I read in the chapter 21 of Revelations. Now I want to read it with you. I want you to get to understand something. This is the word of John on verse 1 of chapter 21, Revelations. John is saying, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. He is explaining that I saw a new heaven. This is a new Jerusalem that was coming down from heaven. So if it was coming down from heaven, we want to understand where exactly in heaven is it coming out from. And also we want to know, because according to the book of John chapter 4, chapter 14, this is the place where Christ was preparing for us. And this is the place where he said, if I come back, I will receive you unto myself, so that you can be where I am. So this is the place that Christ wants us to be, because he will be there and he wants us to be there with him. All right, going on, John says on verse 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, coming down from God out of heaven. So that means this New Jerusalem is not just coming from heaven, but it's coming down from God out of heaven. Let us go back to the book of John chapter 14. I want to review something to you that I want you to understand. Now, Christ on verse 4 of John chapter 14, he is saying, whither I go, you know. Meaning to say, where I go, you know. And he said, and the way you know. Where I go, you know, and the way you know. So now, Thomas did not know what the way was. Thomas wanted to understand which way is Christ talking about. And then Christ responded to Thomas and said, this Bible saying, Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me. When the first heaven and the first earth is being destroyed, that means the heaven, this heaven that we know of, shall be destroyed, and this earth shall be destroyed. But the Bible in the book of Isaiah says, the grass withers and the flower fadeth, but the word of the Lord shall stand forever. That means God himself shall stand forever, because God is the word himself. If you go into the book of John chapter 1 from verse 1, the Bible is saying, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. So Isaiah is saying that the word of God shall stand forever. The grass withers, the flower fadeth, but the word of God does not wither, and it does not fade, and it does not fail, and it shall stand forever. So if the word of God stands forever, that means God himself stands forever, because God himself is the word. He is in his word, and he is the word. Which is why many people try to interpret the word of God, not knowing that God is his own interpreter. I always tell people that when you are preaching or when you are talking about something that is from the Bible, you do not need to add something that is from outside the Bible into the Bible. No, the Bible itself can explain itself, but you can make examples of the things that are outside the Bible, but it has to align with the things that are inside the Bible. So the Bible itself can interpret itself. When Joseph was asked, when he was taken, sold by his brother, he was asked by the guys that he was with in the prison, before he go to interpret the dream of Pharaoh, he had to interpret the dreams of the guys that were with him in the prison. He interpreted to them, but when they asked him, the first thing that he said to them was, the interpretation belongs unto the Lord. So that means, according to the words of Joseph, God interprets his own words. The interpretation belongs unto the Lord. So I don't wanna go away from the topic that I'm talking about. Even when Joseph was taken by Pharaoh, was brought forth before Pharaoh, he wanted to interpret the dream, and he interpreted the dream. But when he was interpreting the dream, first thing that he did was to say, the interpretation belongs unto the Lord. So going on this topic, as I'm concluding, I want you to understand something that is hidden to many people. So John said, and I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven as a prepared bride. As a prepared bride. As a prepared bride. And this way Christ went. This is what Christ went to do. To prepare a place for you. And now John is saying, he saw the New Jerusalem coming down out from God, out of heaven, as a prepared bride. So that means Christ has done the work of preparing the place for us. Preparing the place for us. So now it's coming down. So when it's coming down, I went down with the chapter on verse 3, and now John is saying, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. You see, that means now we are going to stay with God. We are going to dwell in the presence of God. Not like what we do here on earth, that sometimes we're in the presence of God and sometimes we are not. But there we shall forever be in the presence of God till eternity. We shall forever be in the presence of God till eternity, because if we shall no longer be there, devil shall no longer be in our presence to tempt us. So going forth on verse 4, the Bible is saying, and God shall wipe away all the tears of their eyes, and there shall be no more death. That means people shall no longer cry. Because what makes people cry? Yes, there are tears of joy, but what makes people cry mostly is because of sufferings, because of death, because of